Hi guys. Hi, thanks for coming. You guys look awesome. Yeah, right? Nice. Okay, so before I start, my name is Dannie Sim. So I'm a senior engineer at King with the studio Nonstop Games. I just want to find out more about you guys. Like, how many here are like really into 3D graphics programming? Wow. Okay, so how many here are just like games programming in general? Anything to do with games, 2D, 3D, whatever? A lot. And so who's here just to like see what's happening? Not really into programming and such. Okay, so it's about half, I guess, or 1/3. Okay. So I got a bag of very fashionable socks. Right, I'll be giving them out if you guys pay attention. For those that are really hungry, I got Candy Crush candy. The real stuff. Alright? Really? Yeah, you can try it. Okay. So let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to start with a quick introduction, a bit more in depth about myself, what I've done, where I came from, as well as Nonstop Games and King. And then we're going to get into the meat of the presentation, which is about our 3D RTS on mobile, followed by a Q&A. And then there'll be hands-on, so a few of my colleagues will be around with their iPads and such. You guys can try out the tech demo. Okay, so about myself. Started game programming back in 1987 on an Apple IIe. Right, I had no idea what I was doing. I just bashed on the keyboard and then lines of graphics came out. I was a 3D artist. I figured I did too much programming and I wanted to explore the other side of my brain, so I tried to be a 3D artist. The keyword is try. Okay, then with a bunch of friends, we made a game that hit number 23, What's Hot Role Playing for iPad on the US App Store. I spent way too much time on my life. I think the last time I was counting is literally in-game, like more than a year. I lost like 1-2 years of my life in games like these. Just before you think I'm a geek that never sees the sun, I was the 2009 Singapore champion for radio control helicopter aerobatics. That's some pretty geeky stuff, right? We just crawl out into the sun every now and then. Yeah, so just to prove, I was way more pudgy then. Yeah, that Singapore flag.
How do you lose weight? Can you change the topic?
Oh yeah, that's another slide for hikers and painters, right? Another presentation, another deck. How I
I
lost.
think that's more interesting.
By the way, I was 100 kilos. I'm now 76. I did that in about 2 years. Yeah, so 1 kilo a month. This is me trying to help my friend's club trim the grass. Quite successful. It kills the mosquitoes too. So all these is the teams that I work with. Car Air. So this hand and gun was modeled by this guy who now makes cinematics for StarCraft 2. So it's in Blizzard. And this was the game. It's a game that we just thought would be fun, and surprisingly it did okay. Okay, so about Nonstop Games. So after doing all that, I found Nonstop Games, and I talked to the guys there, and we thought we could do some serious work together and fun stuff. So I decided to join them. They were founded by 4 Finnish dudes in 2011. There are 17 of us, all of us passionate about making games that gamers love, right? So now, as most of you who have known, we're now part of the kingdom, right? And we're looking for great talent. If everything fits, and we share the same passion, yeah, you can talk to us later. We encourage innovation and individuality. So that's really cool. Yeah, so that's a little caricature of us. This is our CTO, he's not here, but he's our biggest hipster. He was our fashion model for our socks. Yeah, but yeah, I decided not to post that photo here. Okay, so Nonstop, our flagship game is Heroes of Honor. It's a real-time map strategy war game. It's a 2D game. And we have App Store features on the front page in over 100 countries. And it looks like that. You're like, yeah, no sound effects, but I can do them kapow, kapow, bang, bang. So, yep, and so we found that, you know, King as well as Nonstop, we have very similar values. We're really passionate about games, we're really into fun, a great culture. So it's a natural fit, and we got acquired by King this year in August. So what does that mean, or what's King like? Well, most of us know this. King makes Candy Crush, Fun Heroes, Pet Rescue, and more. There are 6 studios in Europe, and we are King's first studio in Asia, and we are really excited about that. So the 6 studios in Europe, they are Berlin, UK, Stockholm, Malmo, Bucharest. I think there's one more.
Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah. I remember it's another B. Barcelona is a nice place, by the way. And one of the unique things about King is that the over 1,000 of us will come together twice a year for an info market where we share information, get to know each other more, you know. And it looks like this. You gotta be really fast, right? It's really quick, right? So if you're quick enough, you can tell that there are people from all over the world right there. Cool stuff. Okay, Kingdom Perks. We have an induction in Berlin. I love that city. So you fly there for a week or so. Nonstop Games is going to have a new office at Lavender. We have a lot of platforms to share knowledge, so you have access to all the developers and artists. There's an internal communication network thing, and you can just be free to talk to any of them. And sometimes you fly between the studios just to exchange ideas. And more, right? So you can talk to some of the people from Nonstop. And when you apply, you can ask the recruiter. I'm not going to do her job. And this is the top floor of our new office building, so we have access to a nice place.
Where's that?
It's in Lavender. It's a new building.
What's the building called?
What's the building called?
Apiria.
Apiria. Okay, so King is it's a global kingdom of fun. Yep. There are 345 million monthly unique users, that's a lot. 1.2 billion average daily gameplay. And we all believe that our games have to be truly free to play. It's not like to progress a certain point you have to pay, because if you think that's not fun, that's not nice. So it's truly free to play. It's amazing. And Nonstop Games, King Studio. We're independent. That means that we get to create our own ideas. Everybody in Nonstop Games is a flat organization. Everybody can chip in, collaborate ideas. And then we'll talk to the guys at King, and then we all decide what are the best, most fun, coolest thing we can do, and then we'll do it. Fun, innovative games, right? And we are looking to do games beyond the traditional casual genre. So we're not going to make a lot more of those candy stuff, at least not Nonstop. Right? And one of our goals is to bring the best of Eastern gaming to the global market. So great ideas from Japan, China, Korea. Yeah, we're going to help to translate that for the global market. As we have seen before, the 345 million audience. Okay, and we have amazing games in the pipeline. I can't discuss them, but if you're the right fit and you join us, you will know. Okay, so I'm going to get into our tech demo. That's the end of introduction. Okay, and I'm going to give away some free stuff. Okay, who can tell me how many monthly average unique users we have?
345 million.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, I got cool socks now.
Is Nonstop the first Asian studio for King?
Yes.
Who said yes? Okay, she said yes, so I'll take her word for it. Nobody objects. So how many studios we have around the world right now for the kingdom? 6? No, it's actually 7. But I like you get 10.
Danny.
7, okay, great. Socks for you. Okay. So I'll take them. It's called Fleet. It's a naval real-time strategy prototype. We're exploring certain ideas, at the same time we're trying to explore certain technologies. Somebody asked me before the presentation, like what type of 3D engine or what type of platform we're going to make our games on, and the answer was, we are still investigating, and it really depends on the game. So Fleet was one of the tech demos we made, just to get a feel of what we like to make our own 3D framework. It's largely done in C++. Okay. So I'm going to show you some current mobile real-time strategy examples along the way, and what we think will happen to the real-time strategy landscape on mobile in the near future. So based on that, we come up with requirements for this tech demo. And because it's a naval RTS game, there's some ocean simulation involved. We'll share more in-depth about tech details, a lot of numbers, stuff like that, and some of our rendering techniques. Okay, so what's it like currently? Well, Clash of Clans, Boom Beach, it looks like that. Lots of, boom boom kapao again. Yeah. I should get speakers. In the near future, you see that more of these games will demand, the gamers will demand high fidelity 3D graphics. So more detailed, smoother, everything. Okay, smoother frame rates. Yeah, like 20 FPS, 30 FPS might not even cut it anymore for those avid gamers. More complex battle mechanics. I'm a personal fan of more physics, AI stuff going on. And it takes a lot of computing power, something that mobile devices don't have a lot. And there's going to be lots of RTA games on mobile because of the current success of those games, right? So there'll be a lot. So we got to do more to really stand out from the crowd. There'll be many entry-level smartphones in use, maybe a year. In fact, what I mean by entry-level, I mean Android phones with dual-core at least, so multi-threaded actually makes sense. With at least a 720p graphics display. Okay, so what are the requirements we made for ourselves? We wanted to test a Navy combat game with Vikings. We wanted the capability of having hundreds of units, all 3D character animated. Particle effects for explosions and water. And we want to wow people with some cool ocean simulation effects. As well as real-time physics integrated with AI for the units. And it has to use less than 100 megabytes for the core runtime. For a production game, we have to squeeze a lot more content in on different levels and all, so that's where a lot of the memory will go. So it's best that we keep the core game small. Okay, so I'm going to give a demo of the ocean video. Okay, so you can see, that's our ocean. I'll just drop a ship and make him make a detour. I'll switch to fly cam mode. Yeah. That's our ocean right there. I'll zoom into him. So you can see some specular details going on. The wake is projected on the ocean. And of course, this is displacement. Right? The ship bobs, it goes up and down with the ocean too. Yeah, this is my favorite mode, submarine mode. Yeah, I used to play submarine games, I love it. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to the ocean. So let's talk more about it. Yeah, we were trying for something never really seen before on entry level or just mobile phones in general. Well, that's something that works on all phones. When I mean all, we mean those that are at least quite popular. So iPad 2 was one of our low-end targets. We found out it was a complex problem. I thought I could sit down there for a week and then solve everything, but no, I was so wrong. Yeah. And we wanted the techniques to apply, the technology to apply to any type of ground in a game. So we're not just stuck to ocean. Right? Like earthquakes, terrain generation, dynamic terrain. We can use the techniques we developed. So I'm going to break down the ocean a bit, the pieces of it, from a technical art standpoint. So the first batch are the displacement normal maps. So it's both displacement as well as normal encoded in the same texture. We have two of them. Then there's detailed normal maps. These are higher res. So the displacement maps drive the vertices, the points on the 3D ocean. Detailed normal maps drive each individual pixel that's rendered. So it's a bit more detailed. So you can see more detail. So all together, and the last one, the fifth texture we use is a reflection map. So you can see like a bit of sun going on, horizon and stuff. We don't use a cube map, I'll explain why later. The reflection map is more efficient, get more detail. Let me zoom into the displacement and normal map and how we animate them. So we have our first map that moves, and then we have map B that moves faster. And so it's like an overlapping motion. And you can see, if you have a bit of imagination, you can tell it's like waves going on. So when you slide them over each other at different speed, you get a very nice motion in there. So red, green, and blue encodes the 3D vector for the normal of the surface. Okay, for those that are not in 3D programming, I'm sorry, Google's your best friend. Right? Take notes or something. And alpha is the displacement. So alpha tells us how high the surface is at that point. We use 8-time oversampling for the u-axis. U means it's a program 3D speak for x-axis. So it's actually a square texture, but we stretched it 8 times. The reason is because we're sliding it over, and we want the effect to be smooth. So if we just use a low resolution, square texture, it gets choppy because there's less pixels to like roll over. So we stretched it 8 times, and that saves a lot of computation. Okay, and we use the same technique for the detailed normal maps without the displacement, so there's no alpha. Right. It gives us inexpensive close-up detail. So in total, we have 4 normal maps, all sort of interacting with each other in real time. Right, 2 from the displacement normal map, 2 from the detailed normal maps. Okay, so once we get the normals going, like how do we map them into our reflection map? So you saw the reflection map, right? It's a 2D thing, right? Vectors are in 3D space. So we use x, y, z coordinates to describe them. So it's 3D, and this thing is just 2D. It's like x and y at best. So, well, we just discarded one. In this case, we discard z, and then we just get x and y. Some information is lost, but if you have an awesome artist to play around with the 2D reflection map, it actually works. Okay, so we found out this technique and was quite pleased with the results. Challenges. Yeah, it seemed really hard then. I think, I don't know. Yeah. We tried sprite animation for the ocean at one point, and that took out a lot of memory. It was easier to do, but took out too much memory. Reflection mapping, as mentioned, we didn't use a cube map. A cube map, a cube has 6 sides, so you have to use 6 textures just to get a picture of the environment. As I mentioned, we squeezed down, everything down to a 2D texture, so that's 1/6 the memory. Then we found out there was texture lookup bandwidth limitations, especially on the iPad 2. Our shader, which runs on the graphics processor, was doing lookups on 3 separate textures for every pixel that was being rendered on the screen. And it just slowed everything down. So we solved it by using texture compression. A lot of GPUs had that. And that reduced the memory bandwidth a lot. Okay. And what we found out, artists deliver the punchline. Right? It looked, I'm too ashamed, I didn't show you guys, but you should have seen it when I was doing it. And then suddenly, Alan, the guy stalking me with his iPhone right now. Yeah, he's an awesome 3D artist. He came in, just did the textures, and whoa, the ocean looked really nice. Yeah. And of course, then once we had the ocean, we had to put stuff on it, like the boat has to follow it, the wakes of the boats have to follow it, and that opened up another whole Pandora's box. You have to pre-render the noise. You have to generate on the fly the projected meshes to match the ocean. We use stencil buffer for that also. To minimize overdraw. It's a whole topic on its own, so maybe another time. Right, I'll spend half an hour or so just presenting that. But here's a little teaser. So this is a pre-generated noise we generated in Maya, and we pre-process it in shape. Okay, so I'm going to show you an epic naval battle. We tried to put a lot of stuff in and just show you what happened. Okay. So this is the base that we're going to attack. You can see, the whole fleet, Armada here, ready to just. So this, we're going to attack this in a circle. This one. Okay, it's going to go. So we'll recce a bit, lots of archer towers, catapults, mines, looks dangerous. Can we do it? We got 36 plus 9 ships. Let's hope we can. So this is your energy, and these are spells that you can tap on and which uses the energy. Okay, I'll drop the fast harpoon bolts, this is my favorite. They respond to laser light, see? Look at that. There you go. Hey. Yep, there you go. Right? That's a cheap trick. Now look at that. Oh. Okay, so well instructed, let's do the on the north. I'll put on our sailboats, and the south I'll put on the slower harpoons. Yeah, here we come. Oh, these guys are fast. Get back. I'll just move out one of the guys, because his friends are in for a lot of it. You can see the health bars going down really quick, because they're the first in. Oh, wow, they don't look there. Oh, I threw a healing spell. You can see the green healing crossing. This guy's about to die, so I threw some more healing spells. Whenever I destroy a building, I get more energy. It's a very familiar concept of game, but this is just a tech demo. So bear in mind, we're not demoing gameplay, right? This is just a tech demo. You just decide just do a familiar gameplay, just a test of tech. And doesn't look good. No, not at all. I don't think we win. Can we? Oh wow, minus 4. Yeah. I still have a bit of energy, so shall I use healing? Yeah, I heal this guy. Still got stun, I can use that. So I'll stun this and you can't fire at me. It's close. No. Oh, come on. Ah!
Almost.
Yeah, almost. I thought it'd be too cliche if we won, right? Okay. So here are some tech details. I'll let you read most of it, so I'll just go really quick. We decided to do 60 FPS on iPad 4 because it's like somewhere in the middle thing. And it's nice Retina screen, like 2500 pixels by 1400 or something. So there's a lot of pixels for a mobile device. And most desktops don't have that many pixels. So we have bone linear triangles, 4 skin weights per vertex or influences, depending on what you call them. Transport animated triangles, static triangles means they don't really move. So all the triangles here are with normals and lit with 2 lights and ambient and direction. And a number of them move with box 2D physics, 30 dynamic bodies and static bodies. Okay, here's the thing. We use 2D physics because it's an order of magnitude more efficient than 3D. And it's an illusion of smart movement programming that all the movement happens in 3D. Yep, even the projectiles, they're all just movement programming. We don't use physics for that. The only thing we use physics for is the collision of the ships with the islands and each other. Ocean effects. So if you see there's a full screen displacement animated ocean edge. There are a number of games out there on mobile that has ocean on it, but if you do a quick check, it's always a small portion. This one almost like 80–70% of the screen is filled with that. So that takes a lot of processing. And the ship has wakes, so that adds more. And for the explosions and stuff, more billboard animated sprites. The grand total is 107,000 triangles per frame being rendered with all that effects, AI, physics, and it still does pretty well. The AI wasn't very, very complicated. Just nearest target 5 movement, controls 30 ships. We had to do a bit of tweaking to make sure that the AI is physics aware. And there are 16 concurrent sound channels, all of them with 3D spatial processing. You only can hear how wonderful it sounds if you put on headphones, unfortunately. But since we could do it, we just wanted to see. On certain devices, it could take up to 20–30% of processing power. And that's for uncompressed. You go compress sounds and it takes up even more. So
how do you synthesize your sound? GarageBand or something? How to create your sound?
Well, I just go to a sound library and just pick up files.
Okay.
Do you write your own mixer too, or you use?
No, we use OpenAL. Yeah. And by the way, this free demo runs on 5 or 6 platforms, depending on how you count. Linux, OS, Mac OS, iOS, Android, Chromebooks. That's one we're pretty proud of. So OpenAL, the sound library had to be a bit of porting here and there. That was fun depending on how you did it. So we're going to compare with Brand X 3D engine. You guys can guess which Brand X 3D engine we're comparing. So 32 ships in a day, something like that too. So this Brand X, very nice. We use Brand X to test like really detailed 3D buildings. So again, Alan did a great job on this. I deserve it. And a bit of particle effects. That's about it. So Grand 26 frames per second. And this is our own 3D framework. So particles, displacement map options and all that stuff. And we got 44 FPS. So this is on iPad too, so we're kind of proud of that. So we can keep it. So what magic do we do for 3D rendering? The answer is nothing. If I knew magic, I wouldn't be a programmer. I'll be David Blaine. Okay. Yeah, so we made use of SMID, capable vector math. Who knows what SMID is? Oh, sorry, SIMD. Yeah. That's Lexi. You know? Okay, you get a soft net.
Just for knowing what I need.
No, you spoke out, which is good. Right? But you know what? The real meaning is, it's my name. Dannie Sim. Okay, so the library we use is GLM. It's the most portable and it's about the second fastest library it is. The fastest is Apple. They have a vector math kit, but only works on Apple stuff. We use a lot of vertex buffer objects to preload vertex data on GPU. And we make use of VAO. So not all devices support this, especially Android, so we detect and work accordingly. It pre-configures rendering programs for the GPU. Okay, it's a work in progress, but it's kind of multi-thread ready because on Google Chrome, they sort of force you to separate out I/O with logic and stuff, so we have to separate it out. So the entity render states are thread safe. It's future-proof. It's Apple Metal ready. So for those who know what Apple Metal is, it's a new generation graphics API that's meant to cut away all the legacy that's found in OpenGL, so you get more efficient access to the hardware. One of its main features is that it's built to handle multi-thread rendering from the ground up. So when OpenGL ES3 or when we use Metal, it gets more mainstream. We can use unified buffer objects and geometry instancing, and it'll be quick to integrate because our rendering workflow is about like that already. We also use vertex cache optimized mesh export, so you can Google that. Yeah, so particle animation, we actually animate them in Maya and then we bake the animation, so we avoid doing costly like trajectories and animation of the particles. It's just all in memory and just play them back. So these are the stuff that we play back for each particle. Shaders. We believe in using the right shader for the right job, optimize where it matters. And we have a simple framework, makes it easier to write, use and benchmark. We use shader uniforms aggressively, simply because some of our test use cases, we have 400% improvement in performance that are authentic. So we export all that from Maya. It's a C++ plugin. Skeletal animation, rotations are in quaternons, and it's recorded and interpolated in quaternon. So we don't snap between the frames of animation, it goes smoothly, depending on frame rate and stuff. And we use GPU mesh deformation. For file formats, we created our own. It's a no-fluff binary. So the downside of this is that we can't store metadata, which helps artists and game designers to put everything together. So it depends a lot on having artist content tools to put it together, and that's a work in progress for us. So it's not that easy to get stuff in. But the advantage is that it's a memory dump of the GPU buffer, so we just load, literally just string it to the GPU when we need to use it. It's about as fast as it gets. But not all data we can do that. Sometimes you have to massage it a bit, but most of it. It's amazing with Apple Metal because if you have read, Apple Metal doesn't pretend that there are two separate memory spaces. OpenGL, because it was traditionally from workstation desktop systems, the CPU and GPU had separate memory spaces, so it transfers data back and forth. And when OpenGL came to mobile, they continued pretending that there were such things, but actually they all shared the same memory, so that was inefficient. So with our memory dump stuff and Apple Metal, we're going to get amazing performance. All right, so that's it for that. It's a bit fast, but I wanted to make sure we had time to eat and talk and stuff like that. Any questions? Sure.
So your entire game is hard-coded?
Hard-coded? I guess so. It was pretty hard for me to code. Yeah, but I get what you mean. Yeah, we did our best to like have very nice, easy to use objects and stuff like that. But yeah, when the programmers got down and start using it, it was harder to use than say Unity. Huh? Probably. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed the first part of your talk. Which part of your game is real-time 3D rendered?
Which part?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, maybe later you can take a look. We're gonna have like iPads around that you can try.
Right. So for example,
The oceans, the
okay.
boats.
Right, right.
Yeah, the islands.
But most of the effects are pre-rendered.
No, actually, except for the particle and sprite effects, the rest of it is real time.
Okay.
So the buildings are sprites.
Yeah. In this case, the buildings are sprite, but in our Brand X demo, we decided to try a bit of polygon buildings, and we think the general feeling now, at least personally, and my friends in the office, we think 3D buildings are the way to go. And, if everything makes sense.
But does the perspective change, or is it in the isometric kind of?
Yeah, we can change it, but when we talk to our game designers and everything, we find not that much incentive to allow them to move around. But let's say you're debugging and see, you just want to try out different angles. Yeah, we can change it without much coding.
How do you arrive at the criteria for 100 meg?
How do you arrive? I don't know. I just thought that would be nice. No, okay, kidding. Well, there are a few ways to look at it. I just thought 100 meg is like reasonable. It's like really small, right? So it's like trying to put a very high target. So even if your arrow hits lower, it's still fine. Right? Most devices coming out these days have at least a gigabyte of RAM. Right? But then you load other apps inside, and so all in all, we think a nice size for a total game is about 256 megabytes. Right, so slightly less than half of it to the core runtime, the rest of it to content. So we thought that's a reasonable number. Yeah. But just me, so
How much RAM do the textures take up when you still that up into the demo?
yeah, so the demo you saw, I think the textures take up less than 40 meg. Yeah, maybe 30 meg. I pre-cached like some of the projected meshes. I pre-allocate some memory, so that actually took up a bit of memory. I'm not very happy with that, but for the demo, I thought it was alright. So
And all of them are compressed textures.
not all. Yeah, for those that we feel can get away with it, and we need more texture bandwidth, we compress. And the rest of them are just PNGs that we load in RGB or RGB.
So those normals, they are compressed.
The displacement map with normals, that one is uncompressed, that's in PNG. But then the detailed normal maps, those are compressed. Yeah. And it depends on platform also. Yeah, like Android is this file format called EDC that does not have alpha. So that's irritating. So yeah, we can fake it as for those platforms we just switch back to uncompressed like this. Yeah. Any more?
So was 60 FPS one of your goals?
Well,
Or just something technically you want to achieve?
yeah, I think it's just a technical thing that we want to achieve. Right.
Because once you get above 30, there's not a huge amount of difference.
Yeah, it depends really on the game as well as your audience. Heroes of Honor was on HTML5, so it wasn't always 60 FPS.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot of loyal fans playing and they enjoy it. So yeah, it's not necessary, but it's a good place to start because we felt that when we open up to if the game goes production, right, there'll be a lot of people with different devices, not as powerful. So it's just targeted. So on the iPad 2, later some of the demos on iPad 2, you find the performance is closer to 30, 40 FPS. Yeah, but 60 FPS was on the iPad 4 with about 30 ships.
Yes. Development effort required to create this.
Development effort, it's pretty strenuous. Yeah, many times you lose some hair. Okay. For this prototype, in and out was about 3-4 months. Yeah.
How many people working on it?
Well, not many. It's like 2 or 3 of us. Oh,
But a full-time team?
huh?
A full-time working?
Yeah, more or less. It's close to full time.
Or were you guys working on concurrent projects? Or?
There were other projects going on and stuff like that. So, but quite a lot of time was devoted to this.
Right.
For the team. Okay. It's the food here.
Yes.
It is? Nice, nice, okay. I can take more questions. Yes.
So, when targeting Chromebooks, do you compile to Canvas and stuff, or what is all that? How does it work?
Okay, so Chromebook, Google Chrome in particular, has an API called Native Client. It allows you to run C++, OpenGL, and if you port OpenGL over, all that natively through Chrome.
So you're not doing any HTML file or JavaScript?
Yeah, no. So it runs natively through Chrome. Yeah.
Follow up on that. Have you guys looked at ASM.js?
Sorry?
Have you looked at ASM.js?
No. We can talk about it. Okay, so cool. I think we better eat before we run out of time. So thank you for coming. You guys have been awesome. Right. I still have some candy though.
Ask more questions about the studio.
Okay, so I have yeah, I won't go through this if we're out of time. So you can talk to some of my colleagues that are largely behind their iPads for demo, and yeah, Henrik, demo, our chief hipster.
And just work us at any time to have a copy.
Yeah, so feel free to talk and
like.
Alright, thanks for being such a great audience, guys.